beautiful car. I mean, I had a wonderful time. I met another young man at the second event that I spoke at, and his name was Kent, and he's a newlywed, and he's also, after speaking, he's a Marine officer, and evidently he was born in Iowa, but now living in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And I met Kent and his bride. I guess they're newlyweds, recently married. Now, first of all, I was struck by this young. He couldn't have been no more than 30, maybe between 30 and 35, but he was a multiracial young man. And, his wife was white. As he explained it, I had to ask him his ethnicity because, he had such striking looks and such piercing blue eyes. I mean, they were incredible. I don't think I've ever seen blue eyes quite the way his were. And when I asked his wife, I said, that his eyes must have got you. And she goes, "Oh yeah, aren't they gorgeous? They're so piercing, man. It like hypnotized me." But she was a beautiful girl too. But talking with him, and I asked him, what his ethnicity was, and it turns out that he's African American, he's white, and he mentioned Blackfeet, I do believe, was Native American. So I said, "Hey, Native American brother, right here too, Cherokee and Osage." And he knew exactly who the Osage were. A lot of people don't know who the Osage tribe is, but he knew who they were. Osage is near, reservation is in a state that nears his home state. So I guess that explains why he would know who they were. But in any case, here we have a brand new year. And we're starting off right now. I had the newspaper article in, if you go to rodeccles.net, you could get a link to, I guess there's video too. There's some video. You can get a link to islandpacket.com to get to read the article and view the video. I got some positive press. I'm kind of surprised. And I know some people were kind of taken aback about what I said down there. And I know I'm reading this thing. Look, I don't know. Maybe they think I'm some sort of celebrity, but they were down there and they made sure I got a copy before because it came out that that morning, I guess, morning paper. They made sure I got I didn't know. I had no clue. But they made sure I got a copy of the article. And one of the things I noticed is, as I was sitting in the hotel that morning getting breakfast, you have the free breakfast, if you will, in the morning. It was a Ramada Inn. It's a nice hotel, by the way. Ramada Inn, Hilton Head. It was a very nice hotel, run by Indians from India. And I swear the person that she must be one of the owners or part owner or something, because I don't care what time of day I went into the lobby, she was there. And I'm not joking. I mean, you go down for breakfast at 8 in the morning, she's there. I checked in at like 10 o'clock that night, she was there. Hardworking people. So I'm going to assume that she's one of the, not the general manager, but she could have been, but I'm going to assume that she was probably one of the owners of the hotel, Ramada Inn, of the franchise there. But as I was getting my breakfast that last morning, before Tommy came to pick me up to take me to the airport, there were obviously other people in the room, in the breakfast lounge area. And some of them had the newspaper. And they kept looking at me. Now, this is before I knew that I was made the newspaper. I had no idea what they were doing or why they were. No big deal, I didn't think. But they kept looking at me. But I went about my business, and when Tommy showed me the newspaper article after we got into his Porsche, then I kind of put two and two together because it was the same newspaper that they were reading at the breakfast table. And the funny thing is that I got on the airplane, and this woman seated in front of me. Now this is going from Hilton Head to Charlotte, the connecting flight. Woman in front of me has got the Island Packet newspaper. She's reading it. Now, the story is actually on page 3 and 4 of the Island Packet. And again, I'm not thinking anything of it until she gets to page 3, and there's my mug, a picture of me, sitting out there, and, she's reading. Now, she hasn't seen me, obviously, or paid attention, but there was a person that was sitting next to her. And I'm on the aisle. She's on the aisle seat, so I can see the newspaper. Next thing I know, the guy sitting next to her starts peeking up over his seat, looking back. All I did was smile. But he did like a triple take. So, look, that's the first time that something like that has ever happened. It's kind of a little discombobulating to have your reputation precede you or be thrown out there for other people to notice, I guess. I guess this is what other celebrities go through. I'm not a celebrity, but I guess I can kind of understand it. But let me tell you something about being a celebrity in this genre. Now, on the way back at the Hilton Head Airport, and I've relayed before my problem that I had with TSA coming back into the country from Iceland. And something popped up its ugly head again with the TSA. Now, I'm going through the screening, it's a small airport, tiny airport. And the TSA people there, I mean, they're overly serious if you ask me, but I don't know. There's like 15 TSA agents running around, checking everybody's luggage and everything like that. But so I put, you put all your shoes and everything, your computer and your laptop, and you push it through the screener. And I walk through. And all of a sudden, there's this red light ding. And he says, "Hold here, please." And so I'm looking at it. He says, "Nothing you did. I just have to check your laptop for further screening." I'm like, check my laptop for further screening? I don't know what he does, but he takes the bucket with my laptop, goes behind the TSA counter or whatever, plugs it into something, and about 30 seconds later, he comes back and says, "I'm sorry, we had to do that." Sorry you had to do... What is this? Look, folks, I'm not one who's paranoid, but you start putting two and two together. You get flagged coming back into your own country for no particular reason other than somebody decided to change a birth date, month. And all of a sudden, at a tiny airport, now you flying, down to Charlotte and over to Hilton Head, no problems. You fly through all that, not an issue. You're trying to go back home, tiny airport. Now all of a sudden, there's an issue. After you've given a speech or two, and you start putting two and two together. What am I starting to be flagged by the Obama administration now because I'm tagging them all the time? Well, let me tell you something. I am not going to be intimidated by anybody. Now, I'm not trying to be paranoid, but if this keeps happening, and I'm going to pay attention to it and pay attention for it, then I know that there'll be something is up, and I will take action to stop it. Because the proper people that they should be vetting that way, they're not. They're not vetting these people because we're getting them coming into the country, and they're killing people out in California. And yet American talk show hosts who have absolutely love their country are being targeted for harassment by the TSA and by the federal government. Well, I'm not down with that. I'm not going to accept it. And I know some people, and some people say, well, Rod, you got to accept, no, you don't. You see, one thing I want to make abundantly clear to people is that you are the government. The government doesn't own you. You're not a slave to the federal government of the United States of America. You own the government. The government works for us, the citizen. No, our government does not work for the rest of the entire world. It doesn't work for every single 7.5 billion people on this planet. It works for 320 million people within the United States of America. That's it. The Constitution and the constitutional rights are not extended to those people who are not citizens. Not citizens. Sorry, I'm not gonna back off from that. If you're not a citizen, you don't have the same rights as a citizen of this country. And I just look, going to France, I don't expect to have the same rights as a French national or French citizen. I'm not saying that you have to be barbaric towards foreigners. Absolutely not. But they're not afforded. Well, we've gone over this I don't know how many times before, and I will keep going over it until our wonderful government and the American people get that through their thick heads. Because there's no way that I'm going to allow people who do not belong in this country to be given a pass to stay here, while the rest of us not only have to pay for them financially, but have to go through the extra process of being scrutinized. Homegrown terrorism? Sure, there's some of that. But being a domestic terrorist, are you kidding me? When the vast majority of terrorist acts that have taken place in this country, well, until they redefine terrorism, the vast majority of terrorist acts that have taken place inside the borders of the United States of America have been done by foreigners, not American citizens. And frankly, foreigners still have American citizens beat on the body count. Do they not? So this whole notion that we're supposed to... look, I'm going to get into all this. We got 3 hours today now, which is absolutely wonderful. So I'll have time to explore this a little bit more with you. So we got 3 hours. The first new program of the new year here on the Rod Eccles Show. 3 full, wonderful hours. So sit back. If you are sitting in your office, and I'm directing this especially towards Kent down in South Carolina, if you're listening, my friend, turn it up. He works in a bank, by the way. So South Carolina is a very conservative state, so it's probably not going to be anything what I say here is probably not going to be too shocking down in South Carolina. But I still say you should just turn it up. Turn up the volume, have some fun, relax, make this your new morning routine. Somebody said, yeah, it's a great way to spend your entire day, because now you got me. Then, of course, most of you will probably tune in to Rush and then Sean Hannity. And so your entire day is full with some great stuff from some great people. And when we come back from the break, we're going to really hit this hard. I'm going to bring the rain, folks. Bring it hard.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater.